go of the child right now!
If someone had told Aaron Miller that by the end of this Tuesday his 5-year-old daughter would vanish from school in broad daylight, he would have laughed. He kissed Ava Miller goodbye that morning like always, watched her tiny hand wave as the bus doors closed, and believed she was safe. But safety in Willow Creek Estates was only an illusion, especially when power was placed in the wrong hands. From behind her white blinds, Patricia Hale, the HOA president, watched that black family every morning like it was a crime. Her envy had fermented into hatred. She'd lived 3 years bullying the neighborhood, measuring lawns, handing out fines, demanding standards. But what Patricia Hale couldn't stand most was that the Millers, black, successful, and kind, lived with a peace she could never buy. Each sunrise, she muttered insults under her breath while spying through her window. Their laughter, their garden, the little black girl skipping to the bus stop. It burned her alive. They don't deserve that house or that child, she hissed into her coffee. What began as petty jealousy grew into something darker, something racist, deliberate, and dangerous. The Millers had tried to make peace when they moved in 2 years ago. Leah Miller even baked cookies and knocked on Patricia's door. Patricia answered with a glare and a 20-page rule book. That was the first time Leah realized kindness wouldn't work with this woman. For months, Patricia targeted them, sending violation letters, photographing their fence, and finally suing them for a ridiculous property line breach. And while Aaron Miller and his wife sat in court defending themselves that afternoon, Patricia executed the unthinkable. At 2:30 p.m., she strutted into Cedar Hill Elementary in heels and confidence, clutching a folder of forged adoption papers. "I'm here to pick up Ava Miller," she told the front desk secretary. Mrs. Dana Ruiz blinked. "Ma'am, you're not on the pickup list." Patricia's fake smile vanished. She slammed the papers on the counter. "I have legal adoption documents. That little girl is mine now." Have you ever seen someone so entitled they think they can own another family's child? What would you do if someone walked into your child's school with fake documents, claiming your little one as theirs? Before we go further, what city or country are you watching from right now? Drop it in the comments. We love seeing where our viewers are tuning in from. And if you believe no parent should ever have to face that nightmare, then smash that like button and subscribe to Story Arc for stories that stand up to hate and expose the truth behind power and prejudice. The staff froze, confused and uneasy, as Patricia's voice rose, assertive, entitled, and dripping with prejudice. Meanwhile, miles away, Aaron Miller checked his phone in the courthouse hallway, unaware that the woman who hated his family for their skin color had just set her plan into motion. Inside the front office, tension thickened. Mrs. Ruiz studied the papers while Patricia Hale tapped her manicured nails against the counter. "These are legal documents," Patricia snapped. "The court approved the adoption. The girl's black parents couldn't handle the responsibility. They gave her up." The racism in her tone made the secretary flinch. "Ma'am, I still need to verify this with the principal," Mrs. Ruiz said quietly, reaching for the phone. Patricia's voice grew sharp. "Call whoever you want, but I'm taking my daughter home right now." Parents in the waiting area began to stare. She didn't care. The forged seal looked real, the signatures convincing. Every lie she'd practiced poured out smoothly, how the Millers were unstable, how social services had transferred custody. Principal Raymond Ellis hurried in moments later, his brow tight with concern. "Mrs. Hale, we have strict protocols," he said, reviewing the documents. "These must be verified." "Protocols?" Patricia hissed. "I'm the HOA president. I don't need lectures about protocol. That child has been living in unsafe conditions." Her racism slipped through again, each word implying that the black family wasn't fit to raise their own child. While Aaron Miller and Leah Miller sat miles away in a courtroom, defending themselves from Patricia's ridiculous property line lawsuit, the school staff struggled to decide what to do. Calls to the Millers went unanswered. Phones turned off during the hearing. After nearly an hour of confusion, fear, and Patricia's nonstop threats of legal action, the staff made a devastating mistake. They released 5-year-old Ava Miller into her hands. When Ava saw Patricia waiting, her face crumpled in fear. "Where's my mommy and daddy?" she whispered. "They had to go away for a while, sweetheart," Patricia lied smoothly. "No," Ava screamed, backing away. That's not my mommy. I want my real mommy. Teachers froze as Patricia gripped the child's arm. She's confused, Patricia said coldly. The social worker warned me this might happen. Ava's cries echoed down the hallway, but no one stopped the woman. Patricia dragged her toward the exit, clutching the fake papers like a weapon. Outside, the afternoon sun hit her face, and a twisted smile spread across her lips. For the first time, Patricia Hale believed she had won. By 4 o'clock, the courthouse hearing finally ended. Aaron Miller and Leah Miller walked out together, relieved the judge had seen through Patricia Hale's nonsense lawsuit. They laughed for the first time all day, until they saw the principal waiting by the front doors of Cedar Hill Elementary with a grave look that froze them in place. Mr. and Mrs. Miller, please come with me, Principal Ellis said quietly once they arrived. The unease in his voice made Leah's stomach twist. Where's Ava? She asked, her tone already breaking. The principal hesitated. There's been a situation. Aaron's heartbeat thundered. Where is our daughter? He demanded. The words tumbled out, how a woman came with adoption papers, how the staff had tried to call, how the documents looked official. What do you mean adoption papers? Leah cried, clutching the desk. She's our daughter. What woman took her? When the principal spoke the name, Aaron's hands clenched into fists. Patricia Hale, he growled. That racist lunatic kidnapped our child. Leah collapsed into his arms, sobbing. Principal Ellis dialed 911. Within minutes, sirens wailed through the school parking lot. Detective Ryan Cortez arrived with a full team of officers. The school was placed on lockdown while they interviewed teachers and parents. Security footage showed Patricia dragging Ava out the door as the child struggled to pull away. Get that footage to every unit, Detective Cortez ordered. An Amber Alert went live minutes later. Across Willow Creek Estates, phones lit up with the same message. Missing child, 5 years old, Ava Miller, last seen with a white female driving a white Mercedes SUV. Leah shook uncontrollably while describing Ava. She's never spent a night away from us, she sobbed. Aaron, his voice hoarse, gave Patricia's address. She's been harassing us for 2 years. Fake fines, lies, always watching our house. She hates that we're black and successful. 20 minutes later, police cruisers screeched to a stop in front of Patricia's house. From the sidewalk, officers could hear faint crying inside. Detective Cortez pounded on the door. Police! Open up! Inside, Patricia froze. The flashing lights outside reflected off her pristine white walls. For the first time, her arrogance faltered. She whispered to herself, they can't take her. She's mine. But when she opened that door, the look on her face told everyone. She knew it was over. As Patricia Hale opened the door, the police surrounded her instantly. Her hands trembled, but she still tried to look composed. Mrs. Hale, Detective Cortez said firmly, you're under arrest for kidnapping. Patricia's voice cracked as she shouted, this is ridiculous. She's my adopted daughter. I have papers. I saved her from neglectful parents. Ma'am, Cortez replied, those papers are forgeries. We have video evidence of you taking a child against her will. Where is Ava Miller? Patricia stammered, I don't know what you're talking about, but the sound of Ava crying from the guest room betrayed her lie. Officers burst in and found the little girl curled in a corner, clutching her school backpack. When she saw the police, she ran forward, sobbing, please take me home to my mommy and daddy. The mean lady locked me in here. Outside, neighbors had gathered, watching in disbelief. Many had suffered under Patricia's HOA tyranny for years, but this, kidnapping a black child, was beyond anything they imagined. Cameras flashed as officers led her away in handcuffs. Greg, what's going on? One neighbor asked her husband. Greg Hale stood pale, speechless. Detective Cortez explained, and Greg's expression shifted from shock to deep shame. I can't believe she did this, he muttered. I knew she was controlling, but kidnapping a child? At the station, Patricia's delusions continued. I was protecting her, she insisted. Those people violated HOA rules 17 times this year. Detective Cortez looked at her in disbelief. Mrs. Hale, HOA violations don't give you the right to abduct a child. You're facing kidnapping, forgery, false imprisonment, and child endangerment. News of her arrest spread like wildfire. Videos of her being taken away went viral. The HOA board voted to dissolve completely. In court, Judge Harold Benton looked down at her coldly. Mrs. Hale, he said, in 30 years, I've rarely seen such cruelty. Bail denied. Months later, she stood again before the same judge for sentencing. I sentence you to 15 years for kidnapping, 3 for forgery, 2 for false imprisonment, and 1 for child endangerment. 21 years in total. Patricia's composure finally broke. As she was led away in chains, Aaron, Leah, and Ava Miller watched from the front row, safe, united, and free. The community healed. The racist who once ruled them with fear was gone, and justice had the final word. If you believe that real justice doesn't just punish evil but restores peace, then smash that like button and subscribe to Story Arc for stories that remind the world that love always wins and hate always falls.